Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I wanted to go live super impromptu. I did not say or mention that I was going live at all today, but I wanted to go live because I wanted to invite you all to my upcoming session and also share my most recent testimony. If you have been watching my videos and have obviously been subscribed to my channel, then you've seen that I've been sharing a lot of content around the tour that I went on with M. LaFleur as their trunk show stylist. Um, Back in July, I was actually laid off by them. And back then, I was a full time virtual stylist working completely remote. And not even a month later, I was invited to come on as an event stylist. So that means that I would be part time, basically contractual work, where I would be working with them at their events that they host if I'm available. Go into one of their stores, which they actually have a couple of stores here in DC. I'm in Baltimore, so not super far from me. So I will go into some of their stores and help out with their events and things when they have them, if I'm available. And then I was also offered the opportunity to travel with them as a trunk show stylist, which was a really, really cool opportunity that I don't think I would have gotten access to if I was a full time virtual stylist previously. With this new role as an event stylist that I've transitioned into, I also get paid a little bit more. And although I'm not working as much as I was before, it's a really cool setup because I'm able to still focus my time on my business as well, create content like I have been doing and y'all have been seeing, and continuing to serve, but at a different capacity. So, with that being said, during the trunk show tour, I basically did two trunk show shows, and I worked in Seattle and I also worked in Atlanta. Seattle was the first stop, which was a fun experience, as you all saw in my Seattle vlog, but it rained the whole time. And everybody was like, "Oh, that's what Seattle was all about." And it's like, I get it. Like, I knew going that, it was probably going to be kind of dreary, kind of raining a little bit, but literally, y'all, was like a monsoon the whole entire time. And even the locals were like, yeah, it's not usually like this. Like, it rains, but this is a little insane. So maybe we just chose the wrong weekend to go on. I don't know. But all in all, it was a fun experience. And even Atlanta, I would say Atlanta was my favorite, to be honest, because of just how the whole setup was. The hotel was beautiful, and the weather, obviously, was really, really nice. So I was able to go for a walk outside. I was able to sightsee just a little bit on my breaks because we were literally working the entire time, honestly, from like 8:30 to 7 p.m., which I'm not mad at. Honestly, the time flew by. And throughout that time of being there, I met so many women. So many women who were obviously familiar with the M. LaFleur brand, but some women who were being introduced to the brand for the first time. The cities were chosen based off of previous trunk shows and also cities where M. LaFleur doesn't actually have a physical location. So, these women have heard of the brand or they've only shopped with the brand online, but they've never actually been inside of a store. Or if they have, it was in another city or years ago. Apparently, they used to have a Emma Fleur location in Atlanta. That was way before my time. So it was really cool being able to connect with those women, and it gave me the ability to serve in another capacity. Now, like I was saying, as my during my journey as a style savant and just growing my business, I've been in business for a little over 12 years. And it's interesting because after thinking about it, MM LaFleur is a brand that also started 12 years ago. So to be able to partner with them and learn from them, but also use my skills and my expertise that I've learned and I've gained throughout my 12 years being in business has been such a fun experience. And I love that they gave me the opportunity to come on board and continue to do what I love, but in a different capacity. So, connecting with all the women and meeting all the women in the trunk shows and who scheduled appointments and who were ready to, get some help, a lot of them were excited. Many of them were excited to try on the clothes, to get a feel for the clothes, to get some help from an expert, because a lot of them struggled with trying to figure out their sizing, or were not really sure if an item will work for them, or just wasn't sure what to look for or what they even needed. And then some of them kind of knew what they wanted. Also, a few of them looked great in the pieces and, loved everything and were able to shop. Most of the clients I worked with actually shopped and were able to take home some pieces and or order some pieces that they loved. But a few of them didn't shop. And interestingly enough, obviously less women didn't shop versus the women that did shop. But the women who didn't shop didn't not have a great experience. They had a great experience. I did what I did. I did my best to provide them an experience that was unforgettable. Introducing them to different fabrications, helping them to try things on, giving them a different perspective on what they could shop for. But at the end of the session, what they were looking for just didn't align with what we had. And that was okay. And that happens, that happens in when you're working with the stylist, when you're working with your personal style, it's a process. Not everything works out. Not everything works the way that you expect it to, and that's okay. But you learn something with every lesson. You learn something with every experience. And those women who, I was working with, who didn't leave with anything, a lot of them had a variety of different challenges. I know specifically one of them, she honestly looks great in a lot of the pieces, but she didn't feel great. She didn't love her body. She was so focused on losing weight. She was so focused on, being a smaller size, but she looked great wearing the pieces that she had on, but she was uncomfortable. Another woman specifically, was very tall. I want to say she was about 5'11", and she had a unique body shape, and the pieces that we offered just did not work the best for her. And I did my best. We have pants that are longer, we have fabrics with a lot of stretch, we have pieces that are of quality, but we just didn't find what worked for her. And as someone who is also a business owner, I'm even though I'm partnering with another brand or partnering with another business to promote and market them, if I feel as though the business that I'm promoting and marketing doesn't quite align with what the client is looking for, but my business does, I'm going to plug my business regardless at the end of the day. So, with that being said, it reminded me, those experiences with those clients reminded me of why I do what I do as a style savant. And it gave me the courage to now want to host a How to Work With Me session. I always get questions about, how does the process work? What exactly do you do? Like, do you come and clean out my closet? Do you like take me shopping? And there are stylists that do that, but I don't do that. As a style savant, I love kind of meshing personal styling experiences with confidence building, with personal development, with, just helping women to feel better about themselves, but to also kind of acknowledge what they've done, what they've experienced, what they've gone through. And I like to kind of call it style therapy. But looking, coming in and wanting help from a stylist, or even just looking at what I do, many people don't realize that I do all of that. So having this How to Work With Me session, which I'll be hosting on this Friday, November 14th at 12 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to walk my audience through what exactly it looks like to work with me, what the step-by-step process looks like, what the investment looks like, and also giving them the opportunity to ask questions and allowing me to answer them in real time. I always get questions about where to shop, or how to find your right size, or how to know what styles work with, your body, how to take your measurements. All of these questions can also be answered and asked and answered in that session as well. So I'm excited to be hosting that session, and um, I'm doing this live to help promote that session because I want to make sure women who are interested in working with me, who have thought about working with me, or maybe just not even with me, have thought about working with a stylist. I want to give you the opportunity to hear my perspective and learn a little bit more about SCB luxury styling and how I can help you. So, back to the trunk shows, I was so excited to be a part of those experiences because one, I was traveling on someone else's dime, but two, I was still able to serve at a different capacity and teach my clients, I would say, more about personal style, giving them tidbits on, understanding their sizing, understanding how to take their measurements, knowing their inseam measurements. So that if they are tall or if they are petite, they're not purchasing something that's too long, or even if it is too long, encouraging them to take it to the tailor and get it hemmed. So really giving them a different perspective on personal style. And I was able to do that even when working with another brand. So this week, I actually got invited back to do another trunk show in another city in December, which I'm extremely excited about. Y'all, I didn't even know this was so last minute because I didn't even know that they were going to plan another one before the year was out. Like I said, this is their first time doing a trunk show, doing trunk shows since 2019. So I didn't think, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, we're done for the year. Like, if they even do it again, they may not. Like, I don't know. But apparently, we did a really great job. So I'm excited to be traveling with them in December to another city that I'm excited to share when the time comes. But other than that, I definitely wanted to make sure that I went live and just invited y'all personally to my upcoming session because I want to make sure women who are eager and excited to work with me have a better understanding of what it looks like to work with me. Even if you're not ready to work with me now, you have a clear understanding of what the process looks like, what your next step will be when you are ready, and everything else that I have to offer that you may not be familiar with. So I'm so excited for that session. If you want to attend, if you know someone who needs to be in the room, definitely make sure you share the link with them so that they can register in RSVP. And I think that's it, y'all. I think that's it. I hope that y'all have been enjoying the content that I have been sharing. I will continue to share more and more about my testimony and my experiences. And yeah, I will see y'all on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.